welcome. A pleasure to see you here this morning in a seaside town of Dunoon, as they say, where I come from. It's almost a good reason to come to Dunoon today without having to open a treatment works while you're here. It's just the kind of weather you'd want to be here. It kind of reminds me of times I did come in the past. I come from Ayrshire and I've been here quite a few times. I guess the Cowell Games are the most recent things I've come to in several occasions. And that's the first time I ever saw a shinty match, I have to say. And I realised as I watched it that rugby and football was really for wimps when I saw how shinty was played. And I saw it at the Cowell Games. My wife reminded me this morning that we first met in Dunoon, and I couldn't remember that. I said, I thought we met somewhere else in the 60s. And in the 60s, when you can't remember what you've done, that means you really enjoyed the 60s, because that's what they were like. But apparently she says, no, I was 7 and I met you and your parents here on the front at Dunoon, so I had to kind of pretend then I did remember. I'm not sure that I actually did. But today is a milestone for Dunoon Wastewater Treatment Works, a celebration really of the completion of the works, and marking 2 years of intense activity here, and one of the biggest projects we're carrying out in Scotland. I'm also delighted today that we have with us Alex Neil, MSP, our Cabinet Secretary for Infrastructure and Capital Investment. Now this is both of those, I think you could say quite safely here today. It's been a major construction project for the Dunoon area, quite a unique challenge for our project team, our designers, our in-house delivery partners to kind of find the right location along what's, I think, 10 kilometres of the rocky coastline, and to take into account the visual impact that you get when you're doing something like this. So the answer was to purchase Bullwood Quarry, where we stand today. Now, one of the jobs the chairman has, at the beginning of all these things you're involved, because you've got to pass the scheme at the board, and then at the very end you can come and help open it, and in between somebody else does all the work. So I can recommend chairmanship to you. But when I actually said at the board, we're going to buy a quarry to build this, there was some consternation among the non-exec directors who were mildly surprised that we were building a works in a quarry. But then you can see why when you're here. It's a magnificent setting for a start, certainly not a bad place to come to work with a view like what we've just had from the top. But it's really been a most convenient place to almost hide this place, and to make it, the footprint has just been beautifully shoehorned in here to make it all work. The site wasn't quite big enough for the storage structures, and of course we had to undertake great consultation with people here to see where we'd put those, local population, the Argyll and Bute planners. Where was a preferred location for viable storage for when it's very heavy rain? And finally, that was found to be West Bay, an area in the promenade to house the storm tanks, and then incorporate them into this whole design. And we've just been there this morning, and I was having to explain to our minister for especially capital spending, we spend a lot of money so you don't see anything. You walk along there and he says, where is it? I said, well actually you're walking on top of it at the moment. It's very difficult to know you're there. It's been beautifully hidden along with the toilets and underneath, and it's just great. So that's been terrific. There are now 21 redundant outfall pipes if anybody wants to make us an offer for those, because we don't need them anymore and we won't in future. It's cost us 34 million, all spent, Minister, nothing to hand you back, because he tends to squander money on other things, as if you keep giving him money back. So we've used most of it wisely, I hope you'll find. It ends the discharge of untreated wastewater into the Clyde and the Holy Loch. And I think one councillor said to me when he was young, he learned to swim here, and you learn to swim doing that, and then that, and then that, and then that, which you are moving things out the way. Well, no longer the case. You can swim just with the forward strokes now, you don't need anything else at all. So I think we're serving 14,000 people in this area, Dunoon and Cowell, and of course we hope that there would be visitors to add to that, and you'd hope in weather like this it would encourage them as well. Also, of course, allows Scottish Water to meet the requirements of the urban wastewater treatment regulations, and we hope that environmentally we've done a bit of good here. So, a better, cleaner place we hope, supporting local tourism we hope, and an awful lot we can be proud of. But I'm saying we here, and I don't mean we at all. I think we means you. Really, this is all about you. There's been a whole bunch of people here have made this happen, and I'm not really one of them other than the beginning and the end. So I'm delighted to see the people here today who made a huge contribution to this project. The Dunoon project team, for example, and all the project managers and the operational staff, the contractors, the consultants, all of them done a great job in almost driving past you don't know what you're driving past, and when you're over these tanks you don't know they're there. Huge thank you also to the local neighbours and supporters of the project, because you need patience and collaboration to do this, and it was a wee bit disruptive along the front when we were driving down these huge piles and great big tanks, but that's all been done and you've borne with us. So really I'm thanking you, all the project people who have done a terrific job. We need to illustrate to a minister we're spending money wisely, and I think this is going to be in the wisely category that we have today. And I think also that's helped by the fact that the neighbourhood came with us all the way. So thanks to you, congratulations to you all. We're very proud of what you've achieved. I'd now like our Minister Alex Neil to come and speak to us. Minister.
Thank you very much indeed, Ronnie. You'll notice that Ronnie is in a very upbeat mood, you would think, this morning, but actually he told me he was struggling to get here today because he's been in a downer since the football result last night. He was really disappointed that Italy beat England in the Euro finals, semi-finals last night. Can I say this is a brilliant day. The sun is shining today on this project, and so it should do. As Ronnie said, this is £34 million worth of investment, good high quality investment, replacing Victorian waterworks which were well by their sell-by date, although in Victorian times were regarded as probably leading edge technology in those days. But some of the statistics around this project are absolutely amazing. A length of piping 6.2 miles from Broxwood to the Holy Loch. You've got some of these tanks 17 metres deep and 107 litres of wastewater coming in every second to be treated into this plant. And I think it's fantastic that a site like this that normally would probably have lain absolutely empty for many a long year and already had done, that Scottish Water have picked this particular site because I think in one way it's unobtrusive, but on the other way, because it's so compact, it is a site that you can easily bring people to and see the marvels of 21st century water processing technology. And it's very, very typical of the quality of projects now being opened up across the country. Last week, Ronnie Richard and I were at Glencorse on the East Coast, opening a fantastic new water treatment works there. And that's very indicative of the results of the £500 million of investment Scottish Water, with the help from the Scottish Government, is putting into the water industry every year. It's now 10 years since Scottish Water was created. And what many people don't realise is that it's now one of the largest water companies in the whole world. What they also don't realise is that domestic charges, for example, are now the lowest in the whole of the UK, but the performance of Scottish Water is amongst the best in the UK, and I believe will be the best within the next 2 years or so. So this is a very, very good example of a water company operating in the public sector under public ownership and control, and performing far better than many of the privately owned and privately run water companies south of the border. And indeed, there are people from across the globe now coming to Scotland to see how we run and manage our water industry. One of our officials is just back from India, where the Indian government is very keen to find out how we have been so successful in turning around the water industry in Scotland over the last 10 years or so. And it's not just the fact that the investment is taking place. As the technology in this project shows, the innovation and enterprise being demonstrated by Scottish Water shows that the quality of these projects is amongst the best, not just in the UK, but in the entirety of Europe. So I think we have got a lot to be proud of in terms of our water industry in Scotland. Not just the people working in Scottish Water, but the family of contractors and the networks who support Scottish Water in their efforts. We are determined to make water a huge resource for the whole of Scotland and internationally, and already Scottish Water has contracts in 4 countries, Ireland, Poland, Canada and Qatar, and is bidding for work as far away as Sydney, Australia. And that presents new vast opportunities for the expertise in the water industry in Scotland, both inside Scottish Water and across the network of contractors and workers. So I want to congratulate everybody involved in this project, be it the designers, the construction workers, the operators. This is a very good exemplar of what a modern 21st century new water treatment works should be like. Not just in terms of the economics of it, but as Ronnie said, in terms of the environmental benefits that you're getting from this. No longer are there 21 discharges into the Clyde estuary and into the Holy Loch. The water that is being discharged is now being treated very sophisticatedly, and as Ronnie said to me earlier, is good enough to put in your whiskey, although I have to say he didn't actually offer me a glass with whiskey to try it out. So congratulations to Scottish Water, congratulations to everybody associated with this project. Many thanks to Argyll and Bute Council for their help and cooperation, and also to the 14,500 people who will benefit from this investment. They are the real winners in this project, because this provides them with the quality of water treatment that they deserve for the future. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Minister. Could I now ask Richard Ackroyd to come up and join us? Which is the Chief Executive of the company. Very proud of this project. And I'm going to ask the Minister to unveil the plaque and to toast success with a glass, which I think is here. Well done.
I can definitely verify there's no whiskey in this, by the way. All the best for the Dunoon Water Treatment Works and Scottish Water. Lovely.
There you are.
Very nice. Thank you. So it gives me great pleasure to officially open the Dunoon Water Treatment Works on behalf of Scottish Water.